So Genesis chapter 10, this is now how we are going to, because remember now, we are going to now look and find out who are the Gentiles, because we keep referring to many of us keep referring to ourselves as Gentiles, without any bearing at all. And we say we are Gentiles because somebody tells us that, oh, you are Gentile. And we say, oh, yeah, I'm a Gentile. We have no basis on which we accept that label or not. Let us look what the Bible says. All right, but because remember, only three lineage or sets of people exist in this world. You're either from Shem, Ham, or Japheth, one of those three sons of Noah. What does the Bible say? Which of them did the Bible identify as being the progenitors of the Gentiles? Let us look at what the Bible says. Genesis chapter 10, starting at verse 1, and we'll read down to maybe about verse 10 or thereabouts. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphtah, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Listen this now, verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. From which people did the Gentiles come? Was it Shem? Was it Ham? Or was it Japheth? They came out of Japheth. Very, very, very clearly the Bible has given us that. All right? Who are the children? And look at what it says here. It mentions some of them very specifically. It says, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. Kittim are the Romans. Tarshish are what we now know as the Spaniards. All right? It is out of these people, them and the Greeks, that the Gentiles exist and came about. Who took over Jerusalem after the destruction, or at least who destroyed Jerusalem and took it over when the Jews were dispersed in AD 70, the Romans. Here, they were identified as the Gentiles by Noah from way back then. Well, from way back in the beginning, after the flood. Jesus specifically said that Jerusalem would be trodden underfoot of who? The Gentiles. Jesus's word doesn't mix. It is so accurate. The prophecy of not the prophecy, but the scripture in Genesis identified who are Gentiles, and then Jesus said they would be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles, and who took it over in AD 70? The Gentiles, known as the Romans, children of Kittim. Right? They and their brothers, the Greeks. They are in charge up to today. So when we see America supporting Israel, they are supporting their brothers. America just came out of the British lineage when they had their revolution however many years ago. They are brothers. They are not supporting the Jews, the children of Abraham. They are supporting their Gentile brothers. But what did Jesus say? It is only for a time that they will control Jerusalem. And he told me that time is coming to an end. How is it going to end? I don't know. Maybe this war is the beginning of the end. I remember also that there was this whole thing with Queen Elizabeth's death. Before she died, I saw that Charles was going to take the throne. And then before she died, somebody, I don't remember if it was a newscast or something, they had made mention that her husband was from Greek lineage.
Elder Panther.
Yes.
Can you trace, would it be too much to ask for you to trace the, how should I put it, the occupation or the control of the region that we're looking at here? You said the Romans took it over.
Yes.
Right, but my understanding is that this region has changed hands
several times.
Several times.
Several times, yes.
After the Romans.
Yes. But who has it? Who has it now? So somebody had put in the chat earlier about when I had asked about who are these Jews, and the person put in the chat Ashkenaz. If you ask them, or just Google it as we are on now, Ashkenazi Jews, and you will see. And I just call the name of Ashkenaz, who they are, right? They are the children of Japhet. Let me read it again, and you can listen for the name. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. Who are they? Children of Japhet. They maintain the name of their father up to today. That's how they are identified as Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenazi Jews. Children of Japhet through Gomer, right? And Ashkenaz. Just Google it right now, Ashkenazi Jews, and see what come up. Or if you want to use something else apart from Google, right? There are so many options now with Bard and OpenAI and all kind of things. Just look at, just search for it for yourself. All right. So Noah's prophecy, a part of the prophecy also is that Japheth would dwell in the tents of Shem. This is what we are seeing. The children of Japheth are now occupying the house of Shem. Where is Shem? Jesus told us. They are scattered, led captive away into all nations. Right? That is how we came on this side of the Atlantic as slaves. It started with the destruction of Jerusalem, and they were scattered all over the place, and they set up. I wonder if I could find that now. Wow. Let me see if I can find this. Wow. Let me try. Hold on. So note, this is an old map of Africa, and it talks about Negroland. And in here, we're talking about Upper or Proper Guinea, right? And then inside here, you see talk about the Kingdom of Judah, or the Arwida, or otherwise known as the Slave Coast. This is where they went and took people from and brought them to the West as slaves. Some came to Jamaica, some went into America and other places. This is where they came from, because when they left Jerusalem and ran to hide there, because they were of the same skin color as the children of Ham, the Africans, they hid among them. But God's prophecy was that even when they went away, he would send a sword after them and he would bring them into slavery. That's exactly what took place. He sent the Europeans for them all the way down here and took them into slavery on ships and took them into the West. So who is in charge of Jerusalem if they are, as God said, they are scattered among the nations? Who is in charge? Who is in Jerusalem? Jesus told us, the Gentiles, they are going to control it until this, brothers and sisters, is where the times are about to change. All right? The times are changing, as the Lord has said. Let me zoom in a little more so we can, hopefully you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can bring it more to the middle. Here you can see it. Let's see if we can zoom in a little more. Bring it to the center. Here, see it here? Kingdom of Judah, or Wida, slave coast. Right? This is where they took them from. You won't find, because the same Greeks change up the map, so you will never see the structure of Africa like this again. It doesn't exist anymore, but this is an old map that showed where, and they even named it Slave Coast. This was the Gold Coast over here, right? They got their gold in this area. Slaves they got here. And who are these people? People tell us we are Africans. That's what they tell us. What's here, it shows these people that were taken from here was from the kingdom of Judah. They left, they ran from Jerusalem and set up their little kingdom here, and God sent for them still and put them in slavery, just as he said he would in Deuteronomy 24. Right? Put them into slavery. So this is where we are. And it could be that the Lord is now reclaiming his land. And in order for him to reclaim his land, these people have got to go. So what we are seeing here may very well be the beginning of the end. I don't know. You know, all I can share with you is what the Lord has said to me. And years before any of this came up, from 2018, he told me, things are changing. Things are going to be changing. Things are going to change. Why? Because this time that was given for the Gentiles to occupy Jerusalem is coming to an end. All right? Now, brothers, and go ahead.
So, Elder, if I'm tracking you correctly, we can refer to both sets of people in this conflict. They are both Gentiles?
No, if you look at it, in the strictest sense, it's only one set of persons were identified as Gentiles from the beginning. It's only the Greeks, the children of Japheth.
So then the Palestinians fall where then? The people who identify themselves as Palestinians.
The Palestinians, remember that the children of Shem are not only confined to Abraham and his descendants. Shem had other children. These are also children of Shem. They are the ones who settled in that region. All right, hold on. Let me share something else with you. So if we look at this map, let me see if I can go up to the top a bit to what it says here. The world as known to the Hebrews, right? According to the Mosaic account. Notice it make account for Gomer and Dodanim and Greece and Ashkenaz and all of these, right? So let's come here now for the children of Shem. Notice in the middle here, this is where they are arguing and fighting over and so on, right? It is the children of Shem that settled in this area here, all of here going down. Over in Egypt and Nubia and those places, this is where the children of Ham had settled. And notice the colors here tells us what is up, right? So Shem is in the blue and gray. Ham is the yellow, so you can see it right along the coasts here and in these areas, and up here we look at more of it, and Japheth are in the red. So let us go up and look. So notice where the children of Japheth, Kittim, right? Dodanim, these are all that we just read about. See it here? They are what we know today. See it here, Japheth, Europeans. Did I make up all of this, or is this historical coming from the Bible? See there? But we know very little about the Bible. We understand very little about the Bible. This is the problem we're having. We as Christians know very little about the Bible. This is how it was divided. So they still, children of Japheth, are still in control of the Middle East. Out of Shem came the Arabians and what we know now as Palestinians and these people. They are descendants of Shem. But the prophecy from Noah told us that it is going to be the children of Japheth who will occupy the tents of Shem. Where is Shem? The children, well, Shem will be in the area, but the children of Israel will be scattered among the nations. See there? Everything is there in the Bible. How do we now understand the war that is going on down there? Should we be sorry for them? Should we enlist to go fight for Israel? We first need to know who we are, how we got here. We got here. Hold on, let me see if I can. Where is that? Did I? Yes, I think I have it here. No, I don't have it here. Don't have it here. But let us look at some other scriptures where what God said about his house. Because Jason had raised it too. Jeremiah 7, verses 29 to 34. Cut off thine hair, O Jerusalem, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on high places. For the Lord hath rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath. For the children of Judah have done evil in my sight, saith the Lord. They have set their abominations in the house which is called by my name, to pollute it. And they have built the high places of Tophet, which is in the valley of the sons of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my heart. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter, for they shall bury in Tophet till there be no place. And the carcasses of this people shall be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. In other words, who is the bride? Who is the bridegroom? Christ is the bridegroom. He told us that in parable. Who is the bride? Israel. He prophesied about it if we go back. So it tells us their house is going to be left to them desolate, and they are not going to see him anymore until they say. The bride and the bridegroom won't be there. God spoke about it. Jesus echoed it, and it has been fulfilled. Right? Notice I'm not taken any one scripture and create anything, you know. And this is just quick put together, right? Because I could go even deeper. I could go into Matthew 24. Matthew 24 is not what I would guess, I guess, let me not hazard a number. I'll say that a very great number of Christians believe it. It has nothing to do with that. Everything in Matthew 24 was prophecy leading up to the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. And we are still looking for it to come, when Jesus said very clearly, this generation that is alive here today will not end. With everybody in this generation will not die out before this is fulfilled. And yet still 2,000 years later, plus years later, we are still looking now for it to come. Why? Because we don't believe what Jesus said. We believe what people tell us. But Jesus told us very clearly, all of this is just until the time that has been allotted for the Gentiles to be in control is expired, and it is coming to an end. So let me come back here. So if we go to Jeremiah 12, verse 7, let's read from verse 1 down to verse 7. Verse 7 is the key verse. Righteous art thou, O Lord, and this is now Jeremiah, you know, Jeremiah's words and lamentation. Righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Jeremiah talking to God. Thou hast planted them, which are the treacherous ones, the children of Israel. Yea, they have taken root. They grow. Yea, they bring forth fruit. Them have children. Thou art near in their mouth, and far from their reins are their heart. Them talk about you, oh, they love God, but they don't love you. Their heart is far. Let us continue. How does he refer to them? Wicked, treacherous, right? Let us continue. But thou, O Lord, knowest me. Thou hast seen me and tried my heart toward thee. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter and prepare them for the day of slaughter. Is the prophet this talking about his own people? You know? Verse 4. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? The beasts are consumed and the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. Right? Verse 5. If thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with the horses? And if in the land of peace, wherein thou trusted, they weary thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of Jordan? Let's continue. For even thy brothers and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Yea, they have called a multitude after thee. Believe them not, though they speak fair words unto thee. They're going to come flattering and say, oh Lord, you know we love you. Oh, take care of our enemies for us. Hey, 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 hey. Here he says now, what does God say? I have forsaken my house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hands of her enemies. This is what God said about them same people. Who is there now is not the children of Abraham by bloodline. They are not. And we need to just accept the word of God for what it is. And then he says in verse 8, mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It roareth out against me. In other words, they don't regard me. They only talk love, but their heart is far. And what did he do? He gave them into the hands of their enemies. He has forsaken his house. This is what he says. It's not me make up this. This is in the Bible. So when we're talking about pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that those days are gone. He has forsaken that, run the children of Israel out into the world. And what has he been doing? Is it that he has forsaken them? No. The same Jesus that our foreparents had said, away with, crucify him, away with him. He used the same gospel of that same Jesus after we, our foreparents, cried to him for mercy. And he sent and brought about emancipation and the end of slavery. That's how slavery came to an end. Because he promised, if they call to me from wherever I have scattered them, I will gather them. So what did he do? He stopped slavery and gathered us through the same gospel of the same Jesus that they rejected in Jerusalem. And he has brought us into what is now the church, the spiritual Israel. So when we are sitting down waiting, to go back to the motherland, it's not so. How many people know these things? As Christians, I don't know. Anyway, this is what Jesus said. This is what God said, right? I forsaken my house. I don't know this. I don't want to have nothing to do with them in it. Jesus came and he echoed it. Jesus came and he echoed it. Where is that? Right here. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Done with that. Right? Anyway, let's continue down here. I'm gonna wrap up in a minute or two. So Jesus' prophecy, Matthew 24, we could look at this too, but we're gonna save this for next week. We take a cursory look at this. We're not gonna go very in-depth with it, Well, let's see where the Lord leads. All right, so any questions or comments, any new perspective on what is happening down in Israel now? Any better understanding?
Well, Elder, that's a whole lot to think about right there. You just as people, you just mess up the whole theology right there. So basically, these people that killing, so the whole thing was founded upon a lie then to begin with, in the very genesis of the whole thing.
Yeah. But you see, the thing is, Jason, is that we as Christians, we read the Bible, but we don't read the Bible.
Yeah.
You will read, but if you and I are reading, or you read and I go up and I, preach and I say something and I tell you, you accept it that is, and I say God said. But what does the Bible say? One of the challenges I've had is that Jesus said these things, but we, and I say we, right? I say we because I don't exempt myself. We just don't pay attention to what Jesus said. Jesus said it very clearly. It's the Gentiles. Noah identified. God would have had it that Noah, not Noah, but Moses, in writing the Genesis story, identified who the Gentiles would be. Jesus echoed, and yet still we today, we say something different. Why? And I can almost guarantee you, right, that somebody hearing this tomorrow will forget. After they hear it the first time or so, we'll just move on back to what they believe, because it's maybe easier to accept that than to deal with the truth that is in front of us.
Well, it's what we've been taught to believe for.
What we have been taught to believe.
It's hard to unlearn what's been learned for a very long time, So what you're saying to me then is I ought to, what? Am I a Jew?
Check your Genesis. Check your roots. Let me tell you, there is just so much Jason, that if you just do some basic search, you find that there it is traced historically that Jews, a lot of the slaves who were brought here were Jews. But these records have been, they try to destroy these things or hide them. And they change up our names and so on. But God has his eyes on us. And what has he been doing? He has been gathering us all over the world, from all over the world, into the church, which is the spiritual Israel. The spiritual Jerusalem that he's building. So all of this, I'm telling you, there is just so much to it that goes right back into Revelation, understanding the book of Revelation and so on. Yes, Lorraine, go ahead.
There was a place in Jamaica called, I think, either Little Israel or Little Jerusalem, a literal place where most of the slaves, when they came, that was where they were. And they gave, and I'm trying to remember if it was some research that was done. It's Little Israel or Little Jerusalem here in Jamaica. And it got that name because of where most of the slaves came from. So it has, based on research, it was said that most of the slaves that came to Jamaica were coming out of Israel, out of Judah. So if it's not Little Israel, Little Jerusalem, or Little Judah, it's one of those names that identified the slaves that came to Jamaica. And I'm going to find it.
Yes, please, and share it with me.
Right, because I was doing a study with Dr. Mushe Aju, who said we don't even know what we have in Jamaica. We don't even know that we are from the tribe. And he said, here your own research show that there's a place in Jamaica that used to be called one of those three that I'm saying. And that's where the slaves came first, and they named it so because of where those slaves came from. So I'm going to get back that research.
Please.
But another thing that we need to research is about the Balfour Treaty. Yeah.
Balfour Treaty?
The Balfour Treaty has a lot to do too with what is happening here in this war.
Okay.
That land, that piece, that old treaty with the land, that, yeah. So, yeah.
Right, so there's just so much, but we just want to see how this fits into the word. Jackie, I see your microphone unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay. With all due respect, the Rastafarian has some level of a little truth as it pertains to the word, because I remember they are saying that our slave master send us and then give us the word and give us Christianity. But I would think that not only did they give us, but that was God's doing to gather us back from all over, and I know they always talk about Judah as, but it might be twisted a little where they are concerned, but there is a little truth there, as it pertains to what they teaching some in a little, as it pertains to the truth. I was just here thinking about it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Because this is what he has been doing. I remember when the Lord showed me that he has not abandoned his promise to Abraham. He has been gathering the children of Israel, the descendants of Abraham back as he promised. And he told me it is what we know as the church now and how he has been doing it over the years. I was shocked. I was shocked when he told me. I said, what? So we are looking for this mass ingathering, and he has been doing it over the years. Wherever we have been scattered, same Jesus is using. The message to come, and we, just like Abraham of faith, we accept him and we move into salvation. Right? I'm telling you, God is, and this is what he told me. I say, as I'm going to repeat it as we, look to close. Hold on, Jason, I'll give you an opportunity to speak again. As we, I don't take ownership of this in the sense, I own it, in the sense that I believe it, but I don't take ownership of it as my intellectual property, as if I came up with it and boy, I studied so long and hard, and while you people are asleep, I'm reading the Bible, and I've gotten all of this. No, I'm telling you, he came to me in a dream and he said, time to teach. So I was like, all right, but what do I teach? What do I know? How do I teach? What do I teach? And all I did, after feeling the push or the pull, I decided that's where we started the Bible study online, looking at Matthew 24, because it was at the time, in the pandemic, and everybody wanted to know what is happening, how does this fit in prophecy, and so on. And that's where we started. And that was where, once I started, while I was preparing for that, the Lord just started opening up things and started showing me. I said, wow, never saw it like this before. So that's why I said, I don't own this as my own intellectual property, but I can tell anybody that this is from God. It goes against what has been taught, and it has created a very lonely place for me. But, that's what it is. Jason, go ahead, please.
So wrap it for me now, Elder, because wrap it for me where we started out. What bearing these current events have with the prophetic timeline?
All right.
How do you see it through your lens?
All right. I would just need to go back to Luke 21:24. I believe, you see, you asked me about the prophetic timeline. It would take so much time, because we'd have to go in all Revelation and show you coming down, explaining the book of Revelation, what the seals mean, how they are divided up, how it relates to different time periods and so on. But Jesus told us here, the Gentiles are going to control it until. I believe we are coming to the end of the until. This until in the book of Revelation and in Daniel, it is spoken of either as times, and the dividing of times, meaning 3.5 or 42 months, or which other one it referred to it as 42 months, 3.5, 1,260 days. All of them, those figures, when you take them, if you take 1,260 days and you divide it by, how much is it again? You divide it by 360. If you divide it by 30, you get 42 months, which the Bible also refers to 42 months. And if you divide 42 months by 12, you get 3.5. All of these figures are talking about the same period of time. It talks about the two witnesses. We are looking for witnesses to come up, two prophets to come up. It is the church it is talking about. And we are in this until period. But when this 42 months or 1,260 day period is expired, which is what I believe the Lord was telling me, that we are coming to the end of that period where we would have as the until. We're coming to the end of the until. And the only thing after that from Revelation is the rapture. Right? Brethren, I can tell you, my wife can tell you, I've come under some serious demonic attacks. Not normal. From I start teaching this online and these things, right? But you wouldn't even like know some of the things that I got through. Right? Me tell you, man, Satan have his best soldiers on the case. Every day without fail. Because I believe I have something that him don't want people to know. Right? And I'm telling you, how could I know that the world was going to change? How could I know that coming out of COVID there would be these upheavals? How could I know that Queen Elizabeth was going to die and Charles was going to take the throne? I couldn't know these things of my own. But all of them, I believe, is playing right into what he told, that the time of the Gentiles is almost fulfilled. The time that has been allotted to them to control, to be dominant, is coming to an end. How he's going to treat it, how is he going to wrap it up, how is he going to change the dynamics, I don't know. But based on what I see in Revelation, that is very close to the rapture. All right, very close to the rapture. And I can identify the rapture in Revelation. Believe me, God has given me a gift. And I have been fighting to get it out there, to get the books out there, to get the things out there. But man, I have been under fight to keep me away from getting the things out there. Serious fight. Anyway, I think that will bring us to the end of today's discussion. We continue next week, God willing.